And hopefully it's working okay. Hope everyone's had a good weekend. I'll wait a little bit and see if anyone wait for some to get in or something. So let me see here. Wonder if I can re-edit this or not. Okay. Okay. Looks like that's it. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tato's Hardcore Media. Leave a like, leave a comment. I saw this and I did. There's a few things I do have agreed on. Is it Myron? I forget names of people I don't care about sometimes. There's been some good stuff that I liked what he said about stuff on race and stuff like that. But a lot of other stuff that I'm hearing I don't like. I mean, this is from his triggered college student said this after I said women deserve less. Put less in there unless they do this or do that, and how he talks about homosexuals, lesbians, stuff like that, and everything. And for me, I think this is a problem with the country. We have extremists and radicals on the right and the left, and it's creating really a thought civil war. Instead of using guns, stuff like that, it's about, religion on one side and the woke on the other and everything. And it's really destroying our country. It's really fucking it up, and me, I'm usually on the middle on everything, except when it comes to Constitution and stuff like that. Anyways, I want to get into this here.
When those messages came out originally, and the allegations came out originally, it made Johnny Depp look terrible. I mean, he lost a deal with Pirates of the Caribbean, lost a lot of money, lost a lot of support. Sexism actually benefits women. It doesn't benefit men whatsoever. Because here's the thing with sexism and equality and egalitarianism that we kind of have right now with our progressive society. So the way it benefits women is because it basically...
Okay, in my view, sexism, this is my view about... I don't know for sure what he's talking about. I feel like comedy on sexism, benefits women, stuff like that. What does he mean? My only thoughts would be is that maybe stuff like OnlyFans, stuff like that, fan sites, how some guys view them as just sexologists and just want to have sex and pay them and stuff like that, and have porn or whatever. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable really calling on that because he has some of his views and some there's a few that I do like, but a lot of them I don't.
It evens the playing field, right? So what ends up happening with sexism is women are able to kind of double dip. They're able to enjoy the chivalry, the gentleman type treatment, and be a lady when it suits them, but they're also able to go ahead and enter the workforce and behave like a man and pursue that. So they're basically able to double dip And a
Right.
big part of that is from the sexism, right? Because they're able to kind
That's
of get
true.
the best of both worlds.
True,
So
true.
sexism in itself inherently
Right.
benefits women.
That is
Because if they
fact.
actually have to compete with men, they lose. I mean, look at the you literally see them like professional athletes that are females losing to high school boys in competition.
I don't believe
So
that fully.
if we had to
I
go
don't
ahead and just
believe
go off
that
of straight meritocracy,
at all.
we would have one sports league and women would never be able to participate. Like, that's the reality, right? And I remember when I was in college myself, I was a Division I athlete. I rode at Northeastern, and the women's team got a significant amount of money. Oh, we have a. What's up, man? How are you? I guess I could come into that after.
It's my work.
What's up,
my
bro?
work. I seen some of your podcasts and stuff like that. I haven't watched the full thing, but I really just want to know, like, why do you think women deserve less? Because it's like a controversial. Obviously, it's gonna catch people's attention.
Sure.
You know, they see it. And
Yeah,
Sure.
it is.
When I say women deserve less, it's for a multitude of different reasons, but I'll just focus on, like, let's say dating for now, right? So guys have this, warped ideology that being a gentleman and being super nice and, being caring makes you more attractive to women. But the reality is, attraction and arousal are two different things. And by being a nice guy, what ends up happening a lot of times is you get stuck in the friend zone. And what I tell guys, and I talk about this in my book, guys got to give women less. If you look at the cover, I have money there, relationships, social media, and time. And the reason for that is because we live in a deregulated sexual marketplace. And what that basically means is, assuming two parties are have the age of consent, anyone could hook up. Now, we
Right.
thought this would be a good idea in the 60s with the explosion of feminism and birth control, etc. But what
Right.
ended up happening was, when you leave women to their own devices, they date the best guys that they can get. And that problem's been exacerbated as they become more
So
educated
do
and make more money.
guys do too, so what's the point? If women have a right to do that too, I mean, if there's a problem with that, you're really fucked up.
So it's left a lot of normal guys out of the realm. So what I tell guys is, you need a woman that's going to reciprocate that attention, because we're in a position now where
So you're saying you want a way to control women is what you're saying. You want to control them and stuff like that. You want to control them and make sure every guy, more guys have a chance, and that's not right, because guys don't want that. They want the control and everything, and this is what it's about, is control.
have all the
So-
leverage, and a lot of guys are over here courting and dealing with women that, quite frankly, don't deserve it. So when I say women deserve less, there's other aspects too, but that's what I mean, as in, like, dating. Don't simp on women that already get everything given to them.
Right.
I hope that answers your question.
yeah,
That's
isn't
fair.
that just like a generalization though? Because I feel like it's case specific with every person. Like when you say that, it's like you matching one archetype of men with another archetype of women, and then you making that the case for everybody.
Well, I think the world operates on generalities, right? There's a reason why Braille isn't everywhere, because there's not that many blind people, right? So, in general, being a nice guy is going to set you back.
Well,
Now, are there
yeah.
some girls out there that are, will reward you and give you sex and a blowjob for being a nice guy? Sure. But the reality is, being a nice guy typically always puts you on your back foot. And I think in today's day and age, where women have an enormous amount of leverage in the dating marketplace, guys need to kind of go in there with their eyes wide open so they don't put themselves in.
This is like bullshit. I mean, I haven't heard all of this or anything, but are you saying that you need to be an asshole to women and stuff like that? Would respect a man that can stand up for himself and not be a pussy, not be a dumbass, not be a slave to her. Though, I mean, some women have a fetish of a guy being a slave. That's just a fetish. But overall, they want a strong guy around them and stuff like that has strong opinions, strong thoughts and everything. They want a guy that's loving, also nurturing to them, tell them that they're beautiful and everything like that. I mean, there are women that like guys like him and stuff like that, and that's because of money and the power, that he wields and stuff like that. And they can say, hey, I know this guy, I slept with this guy or whatever. I don't know exactly his history, I don't know, but women, get in relationships just so maybe around somebody popular.
In a bad situation. So generalizations are typically how the world works. Of course, there's always going to be anomalies. There's always going to be exceptions to the rule. But I think in general, men need to operate from a position where they're mitigating risk and not investing too much up front. Because we have way more on the line than women do when we get in relationships.
So you say like sex, do you think that's the end goal of a relationship? Like, where do you view that?
I think he said that men have a lot more to lose than women do. That's not really true. Women have a lot more to lose if they get pregnant. If they have to end up taking care of the children, stuff like that, that your sperm just really, when it exploded inside of them. So, I mean, there's different thoughts of that. Guys have a lot more to lose with putting ourselves out there in some ways, and putting our money on them, and doing all that. But women have a lot more to lose if they get pregnant and stuff like that. They have children, and the guy could just leave them and go to other women, etc., and just go from other girl to girl and stuff.
Well, it's the main agency that women have.
What if you don't give them that agency though? If you have like different priorities, generally, like
The man or
yeah,
the woman?
The man.
Okay, what do you mean by that? If you can kind of...
Like, if you don't go into a relationship just expecting to get that out of it, then there's really no leverage there if that's not something you really want out of that person.
Well, a lot of the time that's cope, right? So, like, guys will sit there and they'll be taking a girl on her seventh date. They've been talking for like 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months, and they'll sit there and cope, be like, oh, no, like, I'm just building something up. But the reality is she's fucking some other guy, right?
Well, obviously, yeah, that means unless she's a real Christian. I mean, there are Christian religious people where that they're not going to have sex, and he calls himself Christian or whatever religion. And I don't know what religion he may be exactly. I believe he's Christian or something, so-called Christian. And you're not supposed to have sex until you get married, but I'm sure he has. So, I mean, obviously, or else he'd be preaching his religion about that and saving yourself for marriage. Like I say, if you're in a religion, then represent, but don't be a hypocrite, two-faced, or whatever. But
And the reality is that men need to understand that women, right, they sell purity, they sell sugar and spice and everything nice. But
however, if you are, if the woman has slept with has had other partners and stuff like that, and she has been sexual stuff, and you have 5, 7 dates, obviously she's not into you sexually. With that many dates, you're only in the friend zone. Because a woman's already made up her mind the first date, usually. The first, like minutes or whatever, first hour or whatever of talking of whether, she's going to do that, sleep with you or whatever. Not always, but, if a woman is into you, she's going to be looking at you, longingly. She's going to want to be around you, hang around you, not leave you. I mean, she's going to be mesmerized by you and stuff like that. She's going to want to talk with you and all that stuff,
But what will happen is
She
they'll
can
open
walk
themselves
with
up
you.
sexually to the men that they respect and are aroused by, and then make the nice guy wait, right? And they're able to kind of double dip doing that. So I think with guys, they got to basically push for sex fairly quickly in a relationship to ensure that they're not getting used.
I mean, if you both just want sex, then otherwise, I don't know. This is the thing. That's not a relationship. Sex is not a relationship. Just going after sex is not a relationship. It's just sex. So you shouldn't even be preaching about relationships. But it's all about sex with him. there's two different categories, two different types of so-called relationships and stuff. Sex is not a relationship; it's just sex. But
I think with
Because
Joe,
that is their main. I mean, just let's be honest here. Like that is their main commodity, their main agency. Like
I wouldn't
if
say
women
that.
didn't have vaginas, we wouldn't care. No one would talk
what a
to them.
piece
I
of
wouldn't say that
shit.
because that's like half the population. You just like dehumanizing half the population with that statement.
I mean,
With that, he's dehumanizing women and just see them as sex surrogate, as just a breeding apparatus. It's just to breed or have sex with. And you're just having a woman as a bitch or whatever, just be your sexual bitch. And that's not something that I want, unless she's down with it or something. If you want to just have sex and have safe sex and everything, that's one thing, But I don't think of women like that. It's just like just for sex, breeding purposes. That's a pretty fucked up thing. I don't like guys
well,
like
it's
that.
the reality.
So.
We're put on Earth to procreate, correct? So men, our job is to provide resources. Their job is to extract resources, and it's been this way since the beginning of time. The only reason
It's not just to procreate. We are supposed to also have relationships and build relationships. It's not supposed to be just about sex, like baboons and chimpanzees. We're supposed to build real relationships of the mind, body, and soul, a community and stuff like that. We're supposed to get together with a woman because we actually like her, love her, and they love us for different topics that we like, different things that we like in life and dislike and commonalities. And he's just thinking about sex and breed and seeing them as breeders, That's not a relationship, that's just sex.
to have this whole, moral situation is because of modernity and the access to technology and how we progressed. But the reality is, in times of when times are not peaceful, we get closer and closer to our traditional gender roles, right? There is no feminism when the lights are off. There is no feminism with war. There is no feminism when it comes to preserving society and moving on forward. So, the reality is that that's why the gender
Feminism is about equal rights. It should be. Though feminism today has really gone to shit, really. It's more extremism, from the far left and everything. And there are people on the right. This is where he's an extremist, where he just sees women as more of a sex object and a slave more. And women, just be a hoe or a bitch, or whatever. And this goes, to a lot of inner city, a lot of black people that I knew, because I've been around, the inner city. I've been around, black people and some white people, the ghetto, stuff like that. I've been around some stupid guys like that just see women as a bitch, as their bitch, as their hoe. And that's the way that he sees it,
with each other. Men provide resources, women provide
That's not
access
how
to sex.
women are supposed to.
I'm gonna come back.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, thank you for coming up, though, man. It's brave to do that. So, shout out to you. And you when you come back up, say your name. Hi.
Hey, so I really think
Oh
your
my
ideology
God.
is interesting. How do I apply it to my lesbian relationships?
Okay.
Oh my
What is the
God.
goal? Is the goal to get married? Is the goal to have a serious long-term boyfriend that will, what's the goal?
It's to have a lesbian relationship.
Oh, well,
Why
you guys are
are
useless
you
to
bringing that
society,
to
so.
him? She's doing that to trigger him, to get a trigger.
So should I value her less or more?
Well, I mean, you guys can scissor and talk and have a good time, but you guys don't really provide for society.
This is what I hate about him and stuff like that. I've had, some fairly, gay stuff like that. And, this was from the 1940s and stuff, when you could be killed for being gay and everything. And he only sees they as women as breeders, as procreation. as incubators and stuff like that, slaves to his will, his agenda and everything. This is what I don't like about guys like him. They're just trash and everything on the street, pretty much. That's that flew out of a trash can or something. And everybody deserves to, if she likes women, if guy likes guys and stuff like that, they have a place in society to the workforce, all right? Not everybody needs to procreate. And to see everyone as the potential as only being good, if they can procreate, that's just BS. That's a real asshole right there and everything. Everybody can contribute to society in the workforce and helping others. It doesn't matter what sexuality you are. These are both sides. The extremists are, just like I said, destroying the country. Did Chrome EXE? Oh my God. Did it? Did it crash? I guess it did. Did it crash? Oh my God. I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so I'll be back on in a minute, everybody. It looks like why is that not working? Yeah, I'll be back on in a minute. This is the part of live stream that